Pastor Rachel Conley, St. John's Lutheran Church, and as we continue these digital devotions based on our devotional book, Grace Unbounded, for this season of Lent, today I would share some thoughts on the word compassion and the story in Luke's Gospel where Jesus comes upon a funeral procession for a young man who is the only son of his mother, who was also a widow. And in the verses that were a part of my assigned passages today, we hear Jesus speak to the mother, and first of all, we hear that Jesus, in seeing her, has compassion on her. And then he says to her, "Do not weep." This week, amidst many of the reportings and stories coming out of Ukraine, I had opportunity in my car to hear some of the funeral mass from Ukraine of the first soldiers that were being buried. A 44-year-old named Victor and a 24-year-old named Ivan were being buried at their Greek Catholic church. Even though the language was not of my native tongue, the feeling and the funeral mass that I am familiar with in the Roman Catholic Church was certainly felt. As I listened, I could hear the grief and the pain, but also the ritual of that mass and service provided, I am guessing, some hope to those gathered. In that time of grief, Jesus is with us, and that's what he wants the widow at Nain, the mother of that young man, to know. We hear also from Henry Nouwen in our passage from today, saying, "Compassion asks us to go where it hurts, to enter into places of pain." Certainly, as we turn to our own country, nationally, the last 2 years, there's been much pain and grief also that has been a part of the COVID-19 virus pandemic and all that has been a part of that. We have had opportunity to have compassion and to share with one another. Sometimes I have felt like me personally, I have felt compassion overload when there has been so much pain and suffering and need. And yet I still hear Jesus call to be present, to share with one another in that pain, to meet each other at the foot of the cross. Locally here at St. John's, since I became pastor in December of 2017, I have had the privilege of presiding at over 40 funerals, memorial services, graveside services, or to be with folks who have lost a family member or loved one. And again, often the words fail me, but that ministry of presence that Jesus talks about, having compassion, entering into another's pain, is what is, to me, the most important. As we walk together with one another, as I have been at the bedside of family and friends and members, as I confront my own family who have difficult times and are looking at end stage of life, I hear again Jesus saying, "Do not weep." And it's not because Jesus is afraid of tears. It's because Jesus knows what's on the other side of death. For we as Christians believe that death does not have that final word. One of the blessings that have been a part of our services here at St. John's that I have come to love is our All Saints Sunday worship, where at the end of the worship we process out to our cemetery and we ring the bell for those who have died in the previous year, remembering those who have gone before us, but also knowing that death is not it. It's not the final answer for us. And so we stand in the cemetery and we say that word which is not to be said in Lent, Alleluia. And we know that Christ is with us and that we can turn to that one who takes the pain, who enters the pain, who conquers death on our behalf. As we continue our journey to the cross of Good Friday, may we hold on to that hope of Easter Sunday. God bless.